Alrighty, guys. Firstly, if you are from the YouTube side of things and you are watching this, make sure to come over to this subreddit where I make posts every day for NBA. You can ask me whatever you want. I will always answer your questions. My username is shook_dash. As you can see here, um, you know, I've been back. I was out for a month with COVID, but I am back. So I'll have videos every day. Um, just bear with me. I'm still sick. Like, I'm not 100% better. So just please bear with me as I try to come back into making videos. Like, these videos are not going to be like 30 plus minutes long, as they have been in the past. Like me explaining why I like each play, etc., etc. I don't have the energy or breath to do that right now. So just please bear with me as I make a full recovery. But yeah, if you're from YouTube, please come over to this subreddit. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can message me on this Reddit as well. You can message me on Twitter if you want as well at Tori Langley 1992. And then obviously you have my YouTube channel that is Tori Langley. So firstly, let's just go over my first day, full day being back in the Discord. If you ever want premium content, I will have a link to that below. It will have a link to my Discord where I'll have player pools, in-depth videos going over each slate, um, cash plays, GPP plays, cores for NFL, NBA, etc., etc. So first day back, just want to go over some wins. Just green everywhere tonight. $15 into $300. Nice 3x for Dr. G. Seventh place for $400 here for Joey. Um, really good ROI there. $2 into $40. Nice win there. Sixth place for $65. I don't know what the buy-in was there. Chunky had a good night. 13x night for Chunky. Bamela went small today, so of course he absolutely smashed $5 into $150. $30 ticket, so free $30 there. Days with the eighth place finish for $250. Strauss ruined Peter's bank, but good night there. Good night for me. Look at this. What is this, like $30 into $700 for Quentin? Congrats once again there. So yeah, first day being back was a pretty good one if you ask me. So my lineup tonight. So I obviously went small tonight. I didn't really like the slate. I just didn't like it at all. But what I was saying in the Discord was with no Porzingis, I was loading up on Washington. So that's what we did. We loaded up on Washington, and it worked out very well tonight. Now, got pretty lucky. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Um, it's not going to happen, every time, right? When you load up on a team, like when you're playing four, three, four, five, even five players from a team, they're not all going to get there, right? But with Porzingis out, there was just so much usage to go around. So everyone knew I was loading up on Washington tonight. Everyone knew I was pretty high on Kuzma as well. I actually had Kuzma over Bam Adebayo here, but I didn't want five Wizards, so I did swap to Bam Adebayo over Kuzma. If I kept Kuzma over Bam, oh, this lineup would have been so good. But yeah, loaded up on Washington tonight. I had how many Wizards do I have? One, two, three. I had four Washington Wizards. I told everyone I was keeping Daniel Gafford. I knew the ownership was going to drop with him not starting when they went to Anthony Gill, but I wasn't too worried about that. I figured he'd still play, probably around 20-ish minutes. And at the flat min, he can definitely easily still pay off that price tag, which he easily did. He went for 10x his salary, so that was pretty well. That worked out pretty well. The core that I had tonight was Spencer Dinwiddie, Will Barton, Rui Hashimura, I believe, and Anthony Simons. So I guess that is a W with the core, in my opinion, if I had to guess. And then I rounded out my lineup with Luka Doncic, Denny Avdija, and Bam Adebayo, and Daniel Gafford. So yeah, pretty good night. I will take it. I will definitely take it. So let's go over this 8-game NBA slate for Friday. I will not be at work tomorrow, obviously, so I will be around for you guys, so don't worry about that. Excuse me as I take breaks. I need to stay hydrated, so I'll be taking a lot of sips of water throughout this video. Let's go pull this up and let's do it. So Denver at Boston. Let's pull up. Boston obviously plays slow. They play good defense. 21st in pace. Boston is, and they are. Sorry, I don't have the muscle memory. There's no way they have 22nd defensive rating. I mean, I guess when Robert Williams, they have definitely dropped, but so the matchup like isn't terrible for Denver here. There aren't a lot of spin-ups on the slate, as you can tell. Giannis is out, LeBron's out, Anthony Davis is probable, Siakam's out, Drew Holiday's out. So you have to spend some money here somewhere. Obviously, I think Jokic, if you had the money at 11.7K, is fine. I might prefer like John Morant or SGA for cheaper, but if you have the money for Jokic, I don't hate it. Especially when Robert Williams, the Celtics defense has definitely struggled. So I'm not too worried about the matchup here for Jokic. So I think Jokic is a good spend up if you have the money for him. Obviously, he's going to be a top spend up on every slate that you pretty much play. So yeah, I do like Jokic. Murray, MPJ, Gordon, just there for me. I think KCP at 5K, a little bit too pricey for my liking. And then I don't really think I'm going to be getting to anyone else on the Denver side of things. I don't think there's anything I wanted to point out with the rotation there. Denver, where is pace? Denver. Excuse me. Excuse me. Had to burp there for a second. Denver, 7th in pace. Okay. And 21st in defensive rating. So, yeah, not much stands out to me on Boston. I will say Brogdon is out. So maybe Derek White at $4,000 is my favorite play, minutes-wise for him. Probably going to expect around, 25-ish minutes for Derek White. Brogdon played 19 minutes before going down, and then we saw Derek White come in. He played. What did he play? He played 19, but I would expect him to play more. Derek White was pretty productive in those minutes with no Malcolm Brogdon, and we're gonna have to monitor starting lineup too as well. Obviously, um, so it's kind of wait and see approach, but I think Derek White right now stands out as a pretty good value play regardless with Malcolm Brogdon out. I would prefer Derek White to obviously come off the bench. I definitely like his usage more when he's not playing alongside like Tatum, Brown, Smart, etc. So I prefer White to come off the bench. So we'll just monitor that. Outside of Derek White, though, I think White's solid value, but outside of that, I don't really think I'm interested in really too much else. I will say they're probably going to need Al Horford out there a lot more up against Jokic, so could see pretty big minutes for Al Horford at 5.4K. I don't hate that. He might be my second favorite play on the Celtics. But Tatum, Brown, I think are appropriately priced for me. I think Smart's appropriately priced. Not going to get to Grant Williams. And then I don't really think I'm going to get to anyone else on Boston. Phoenix at Orlando. So I wish I knew where these players were. This would just take so much less time. I haven't been here. Orlando 19th in pace and 23rd in defensive rating. So a lot of if-then statements here. So Chris Paul obviously questionable. That is the big news of the slate right now. I will say if Chris Paul's in, then I don't really have much interest in anybody on this team. It is a good matchup, but Devin Booker would be overpriced in my opinion. Chris Paul would be appropriately priced. Mikal Bridges would definitely be overpriced at 6.5K. DeAndre Ayton would be my favorite play if Chris Paul is in. I think 6.2K is a little bit too cheap for him regardless. I don't really think his role changes if Chris Paul is in or not. So I like Ayton regardless. Campaign would be obviously overpriced if Chris Paul is in, and then I don't really think I'd go to anyone else. But if Chris Paul is out, that's where things are going to get spicy. So Devin Booker at 9.4K, I would like quite a bit. Definitely some blowout risk, but we saw a huge game from him with no Chris Paul last game, which is what we're going to see. He's going to handle the ball a lot more. His peripheral stats are going to go up. He went for 32, 10, and 4, 59 Draftkings points. Stat line you're going to see with Devin Booker with no Chris Paul. So I think Booker would stand out as one of the better spend-ups on the slate with no Chris Paul. I think Bridges would be a fine option, but he might be a little bit over-owned after the last game. But the good thing with Bridges is he's going to play 40-plus minutes. And with no Chris Paul, he's going to have to be asked to do a little bit more. Ayton, like I said, I like regardless if he's in or if Chris Paul's in or out. And then campaign at 5.7K is just too cheap here once again. I don't understand. He should be like a 6.5K to 7K player with Chris Paul out. So if Chris Paul is out, I'm probably going to look to campaign here once again, who's going to be starting at point. Going to do a lot of ball handling, has a high floor, high ceiling combo. It's a good matchup as well. So I think campaign stands out as a really good play once again if Chris Paul is out. And I'll mention Torrey Craig, who played 26 minutes. 3.8K. I definitely think you could do worse for value. So I don't hate Torrey Craig if Chris Paul's out. Let me look at the rotation actually. How much has he been playing anyway? Sorry guys. He's been getting consistent minutes regardless. But I think if Chris Paul's out, this just gives him his minutes are a little bit more secure, in my opinion. So if I mess up like that, just ignore me. Obviously, because I've been out for a month. But yeah, I think Craig's fine. I think his minutes are a little bit more secure if Chris Paul is out, though. And let's go over Orlando. So a lot of wait and see approaches here as well for Orlando. Phoenix. Where is Phoenix? 26th in pace, second defensive rating for Phoenix. So Paulo Banchero is the big news here, and I didn't know how well this guy was playing. I got out of the hospital. I was like, Paulo Banchero's $9,000, and then I was looking at his game log. I was like, holy shit, this guy's been playing phenomenally. So if Paulo Banchero's in, then I don't really have any interest in this team. I will say if Paulo Banchero is out, I still don't have much interest. The only guy I'd really consider with Paulo Banchero out is Franz Wagner at 6.9K, who I think gets the biggest boost, in my opinion, with no Banchero. I don't hate that. And then Chuma Okeke is probably going to pick up the start if Banchero is out, who he would be a solid value play at 4.5K. Definitely not a must with Banchero out, but I think he's definitely solid. Played 32 minutes last game. I think this is definitely a bit of an outlier. I think he'll have a better performance than 20 fantasy points. So at 4.5K, if Banchero is out, I think Okeke is definitely solid. Let's keep it moving. I feel like I'm going way too slow. Yeah, we're gonna speed this up a little bit. Knicks 13th in pace. And 19th in defensive rating. So, Kate Cunningham is questionable. This is actually probably the biggest news on the slate, actually. We'll take a look at the rotation last game. That's not it. This will be the first game if Cade misses. So we're gonna have to monitor that. Bagley, bro. Why are these people messaging me on? Like, stop. No. Stop. Why these people are messaging me on Steam? So if Cade plays at 7.2K, this price tag is too cheap. I think he should be in that like 8 to 8.5K range. So if Cade plays, obviously these like it's not like a premier matchup, right? But if Cade plays at 7.2K, I like him quite a bit. He's their clear number one, guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Has a very high ceiling. 7.2K for Cade is just entirely too cheap. So would really, really like Cade if he plays. I think Ivy would still be a solid option. He's been shown that he can rebound the ball very, very well. Now, I'm not expecting him to go for, double doubles and stuff like that, but he's playing huge minutes right now. Been shooting the ball pretty well outside the 3-point line as well. I don't hate Ivy, but dude, what the fuck? Sorry, guys. Fucking Christ. Bojan, just there for me. If Cade is in. Outside of that, I don't think I'm really going to get to anyone else. But if Cade is out, that's where things are definitely going to change. Jaden Ivey at 5.7K. If Cade is out, it's going to be a really good play for me. Would like Jaden Ivey a lot. I think Bay would be fine. I think Bojan gets a pretty big boost. I think he would be decent. And then we're going to have to monitor starting lineup. Maybe Corey Joseph starts. If Corey Joseph starts at the point, he would be a pretty good value play. I'd assume he'd play over 20 minutes. I think Killian Hayes at 3.4K would be a pretty good value play as well. If for some reason Killian Hayes starts at the point, he is going to be like a very, 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 very good value play. I kind of hope he doesn't, because if Cade Cunningham's out and Killian Hayes comes off the bench at like no ownership, I'm going to like Killian Hayes a lot for GPPs. Just a guy that, Killian Hayes is going to be very, very productive. And when you don't have Cade Cunningham on the court, and if we're going to get like 20, 25 plus minutes of Killian Hayes with no Cade Cunningham, he's going to be an absolute smash play for me. And if he comes off the bench or doesn't start, and people aren't going to be on Killian Hayes, I'm going to have a ton of interest in GPPs. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. Monitor starting lineup. Corey Joseph starts. Like him a lot for value. Corey Joseph still starts. I still like Killian Hayes quite a bit for value. If for some reason Killian Hayes starts, which I don't think that'll happen, but if it does, fire up some Killian Hayes. Alrighty. The Pistons are. I feel like I went over this the other day. You know what? Screw this pace and defensive rating thing. This is taking way too long. We'll go over that later. But I think it's definitely a good spot for the Knicks. I don't really think too much stands out to me for the Knicks. Like, pretty sure Sims been starting at center. They're rotating minutes between him and Hartenstein. Sims did play 26 minutes last game. I wonder if that was due to an Hartenstein foul trouble. Seems like it might have been. So I'm not expecting 26 plus minutes from Sims again. 27 minutes. I think they split these center minutes. Probably like 17 to 8 minutes for both. 17 to 18 minutes for both. Which I'm just going to prefer Sims for the discount. I think he's a fine value, but not going to get the Hart at that price, especially with Sims starting. I think Randall's fine at 7.9K. I think Brunson might be my favorite option of the Knicks. The Detroit Pistons are just so bad against opposing point guards. I think they're giving up like one of the highest fantasy points against opposing point guards in the league. So Brunson might be my favorite option from the Knicks. I think he's solid. I think Randall's solid. I think RJ Barrett's fine, but definitely do prefer Brunson for $200 a little bit more. And then, yeah, not going to look to anyone else really. On to Toronto. So, good matchup here for Toronto. Pascal Siakam is going to continue to be out. I don't think they're upping Fred VanVleet's price enough. I don't understand that. With no Siakam, Fred VanVleet gets such a massive boost with his peripheral stats and, his ceiling, his shot attempts, etc. And he's going to play huge minutes. The good thing with the Raptors is they're going to play such tight rotation. They're going to play huge minutes that everyone's going to get theirs, right? So I find it hard for Fred VanVleet to fail, even at 8.4K with no Siakam. So I like Fred VanVleet a lot here once again. I might not be like my favorite point per dollar play on the slate. Might not project as like one of the better point per dollar plays on the slate, but I still think he's too cheap at 8.4K. So I like Fred VanVleet a lot. Scotty Barnes is just there for me. I think OG Anunoby at 7.1K is fine. I think he's solid. Same with Fred VanVleet, not going to like project well for me, but I think they are both. I obviously prefer Fred VanVleet, and I think Fred VanVleet's a very, very good play tomorrow, but I think OG's fine. Gary Trent has a ceiling if he's hitting his shots, but not going to go out of my way to play him. And then obviously Koloko has been starting with no Siakam and has been dealing with a lot of foul trouble, but they do have other bigs, right? Precious Achiuwa is out, so I think that definitely could help Koloko play a little bit more than he has been. And if he doesn't deal with foul trouble, could play, possibly over 25 minutes. So I don't hate Koloko for GPPs. I think he's definitely a perfectly fine value play. I don't think it's a terrible idea to take a shot there, especially with Precious Achiuwa out, who's been playing 10 to 15 minutes a game. Those minutes definitely have to go somewhere. But I still think Koloko is definitely risky with how many bigs they do have on this Toronto roster. So tough matchup here for OKC. I think SGA is too cheap here once again. Now Toronto is definitely very, very good defensively, especially against guards. So we're gonna have to see what that's going to bake into SGA's projection. But if this was against a different team, I would say SGA is an absolute smash play. I would say he's way too cheap. I think SGA deserves to be in that 10.5K range with how well he's playing and with how he's taken over this team, and he's the clear number one usage player on this team, has one of the higher usage rates in the league. So that being said, I think SGA is actually a pretty good play. I do like SGA quite a bit, and if it wasn't for the matchup, I would absolutely love him. But I like SGA a lot tomorrow. And I don't really think I'm going to touch anyone else on the Thunder, personally, for me. We'll go over the Spurs first. So, San Antonio Spurs, do you think this game stays close? I don't know. I haven't looked at the spread, but Keldon Johnson at 7.1K has played extremely, extremely well. I played him here, had an absolute floor game after smashing every game. But, the good thing with Spurs is they're running a pretty tight rotation as well. Like, Keldon's probably going to play 35 plus minutes. Devin Vassell's probably going to play 30 plus minutes. Jakob Poeltl more so in that, 30 to 35 minute range. Trey Jones probably going to play over 30 minutes. It's a good spot against Milwaukee without their top players. So I think all of the main guys here look good. I think Trey Jones is definitely my favorite. I just prefer the guy that looks the cheapest. And I obviously don't hate stacking this game either. You could definitely you could honestly definitely full stack this game. I don't hate that. Excuse me. But yeah, Vassell was a pretty popular play last slate. 6.8K. I think he's solid. Keldon, 7.1K, solid. But Trey Jones is going to be my favorite option. I just prefer the cheapest guy here. High floor, high ceiling, good matchup. Both teams are going to play pretty fast here. So I like Trey Jones a lot tomorrow. Outside of that, I don't really think I'm getting to anyone else. And then we'll go over the craziness that is Milwaukee. So Giannis, Drew, Middleton, all going to be out. Pat Connaughton, I don't expect to play. So Bobby Portis only played 34 minutes in double OT last game. Pretty much got benched, but I'm not worried about that. It's a really good matchup up against Spurs. I'm fine going right back to Bobby Portis here. I think he looks phenomenal here once again. And if the ownership's just going to drop, even better. So I'm fine going right back to the well here with Bobby Portis. I absolutely love Bobby Portis tomorrow. I probably will not be fading. I will be going right back to Bobby Portis. I think Brook Lopez at 6.3K is a very solid play here once again. Now the stats are obviously inflated. They're not going to play a double OT game again, but I'm expecting 30 plus minutes from Brook Lopez. He's got I don't know if we'll expect 24, 13, 5, and 1 again, but he can go out there and get you a double. He can get there. Blocks, steals. Obviously, we know he's a good defender. Very, very long wingspan, which definitely helps with those blocks, steals, etc. So I think Brook Lopez is solid as well. I like both the main two guys quite a bit here. And I like Javon Carter a lot at 5.3K. I definitely do prefer Javon Carter to Grayson Allen. Now, Javon Carter is definitely going to be a lot more popular than Grayson Allen. So if you want to go to Grayson Allen in GPPs, I definitely don't hate that. But he's just too cheap. I'm expecting 30 plus minutes from Javon Carter. I'm expecting him to be aggressive, just without Drew, without Middleton, without Giannis. There's just so much usage to go around on this team, and I don't think they priced everyone up enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, I love Portis. I think Lopez looks good. I think Javon Carter looks really good. Too cheap once again. I think Grayson Allen's fine. I think Marion Beauchamp at 4.4K is solid value. I don't expect 30 minutes again, and I'm not expecting 34.5 fantasy points again. Marion Beauchamp is not a fantasy point per minute player. He's more like a 0.7 maybe, so he can still pay off this price tag, but please don't expect 30 plus fantasy points again from Marion Beauchamp. He's just not that guy. There's some value off the bench here. So George Hill played 35 minutes off the bench in double OT. Obviously that is inflated, so I'm probably expecting 20 25 minutes from George Hill, which at 3.9K I definitely think he's playable. Jordan Nwora only played 17 minutes. And I will explain why. I think they benched him because he shot 1 of 9, and Javon Carter couldn't miss. So I think minutes, and they also played Marion Beauchamp a little bit more than I thought they were going to. So I think Jordan Nwora is probably going to play around 25 minutes tomorrow. And if he has a better shooting game, he definitely could get extended. So I think Jordan Nwora is probably one of my favorite GPP value plays tomorrow. Since nobody's going to go him, everyone's going to go to Grayson. Everyone's going to go Javon Carter. Everyone's going to go to Portis. Everyone's going to go to Brook. Nobody's going to go George Hill. No one's going to go Jordan Nwora. So I like these two guys for value on the Bucks quite a bit for GPP tomorrow. Quite a bit, a lot actually, for GPPs. So I might die on the bridge. So I don't know if you want to be holding my hand when I die on that bridge tomorrow with those guys. But we'll see what happens. Good spot here for Minnesota. These two teams are going to play very, very fast. They're going to play no defense. I still don't have much interest really on anyone on Minnesota. I think Cat's fine. I think Rudy Gobert is a little bit too cheap. I think Edwards is fine. I think D'Lo's fine. Not going to get to slow-mo. Yeah, I think everyone's just fine on Minnesota for me. But Ja Morant in this matchup just looks phenomenal, in my opinion. I don't understand why he's $10,000 in this spot up against Minnesota. So I think Ja Morant right now, as it stands, might be my favorite point per dollar spend up on the slate. I absolutely love Ja Morant tomorrow. Love Ja Morant tomorrow. Being pricey for me, Dylan Brooks, just there. Steven Adams, I think they're going to need him to play 30 plus minutes tomorrow. I don't hate him at 5.4K. They're going to need him out there a ton, in my opinion, up against Cat and Rudy Gobert. So I do like Adams for value, but outside of that, I don't really think I'm going to get to anyone else. Cleveland at Golden State. So good spot here for Cleveland. Mitchell priced about right for me. I think Darius Garland is a really good bounce back candidate, especially if ownership's going to drop. I think he should be an 8.5K player. With how they're running their backcourt, with how he's getting those peripheral stats, with how many minutes he's playing, and with how I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but Golden State's been pretty bad against guards, big. They've been bad against every position, fantasy point wise. So I really like Garland as a bounce back candidate tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be playing him, but I absolutely love Garland for GPPs tomorrow. I think Jared Allen is a fine option. I think Evan Mobley are a fine option. I think both are pretty good plays, especially in this matchup. So yeah, for me for Cleveland, love Garland. I think Allen's very good, and I think Mobley is a very good option as well. And I'm gonna keep it real. I have no interest in anyone on the Warriors, so I'm gonna just skip right over them. And Sacramento, one of the best matchups in the league here. The Lakers play no defense. They're terrible against everything. They play super fast, so marquee matchup here. I think Fox at 8.6K. If nobody's going to play him because the price tag, I'm going to be all over him. So I love Fox for GPPs. I think Sabonis is fine option at 8.5K. I think that price tag is too cheap, especially for the matchup. So I love both the main guys here for Sacramento Kings. Love Fox, love Sabonis. Herter 5.2K, just there for me. We know what we're getting from Herter. We're getting probably around 30 minutes. Guy that's going to shoot the ball. I don't really think it has a ceiling on the slate, but just there for me. And we know what we're going to get from Barnes too. Same thing. Probably 30, 35 minutes. Guys that can shoot the ball a ton. Just there for me. Playable value plays. And then Malik Monk at 4.5K. I will mention. Been getting decent run of late. He's probably my favorite value play on the Kings. But outside of that, I don't really think I'm looking to anyone else. And then big news here is LeBron James is going to be out. Lonnie Walker is questionable. So with LeBron out in a phenomenal matchup up against the Kings, I mean, this game just has fast pace, no defense written all over it. I think both the main guys here for the Lakers look really good. I think AD looks really good. I think Westbrook, even coming off the bench, looks really good. So I like both the main guys a lot here for the Lakers. Lonnie Walker, if he plays, I think is solid at 5.1K. They're going to need his offense out there. Beverly, no thank you. Troy Brown Jr., no thank you. They started Reeves last game, but I don't think we need to do it on this late. Then we're just going to monitor the starting lineup. So yeah, sorry that this wasn't a super detailed video. Kind of losing my breath over here, and if I didn't go over each player um, super specifically, I apologize for that. But kind of losing my breath. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow.